Think about the last time you tried really hard to seem perfect. The first date where you rehearsed your stories in the car on the way over. The interview where you sanded down every rough edge until you sounded less like a person and more like a press release. The humbling honor post online that somehow still found a way to brag. The dinner party where you served everyone the polished highlight reel version of your life while quietly running on fumes underneath it. And how did it actually land? If you're honest, usually not the way you hoped. Because here's a cruel little twist. The harder you polish, the more distant you feel. You come across like a magazine cover, glossy, impressive, and somehow impossible to actually connect with. People nod, they smile politely, and they keep you at arm's length. Here's a strange truth nobody tells you. It was never your flaws pushing people away. The very thing you're working so hard to sand off and hide might be the exact thing that makes people trust you. If, and it's a big if, you get one condition right. It's called the Pratfall Effect, and it comes from a classic 1960s experiment that takes never let them see you slip and flips it completely upside down. Here's the idea, plain and simple. A capable person often becomes more likable the moment they show a small, honest flaw or make a minor mistake. Total airtight flawlessness reads as a superhuman and weirdly a little suspicious. A small human stumble does the opposite. It gives people something real to grab onto, and it quietly closes the distance between you and them. You already know this feeling. Think of the coworker who never seems stressed, never fumbles a sentence, always has a flawless answer ready. Impressive? Absolutely. But do you actually feel close to them? Usually not. There's a faint glass wall there. Now think of the person who's clearly excellent at their job, but laughs at their own typo or admits they completely blanked on someone's name in the hallway. That person, you trust. That person feels like one of us. But, and this is the entire ballgame, there's one condition. Competence has to come first. The Pratfall Effect only works built on top of proven credibility. If you're already shown the room you're good at what you do, a stumble humanizes you. If you haven't earned that respect yet, the exact same stumble just reads as sloppy. You don't get to skip straight to the charming little flaw and expect warmth to show up. So this is not make mistakes so people will like you. It's something subtler, and honestly more freeing. Be genuinely good at the thing, and then stop hiding your natural humanity. And notice the careful wording. A small flaw can make a capable person more relatable. It's a tendency, not a magic trick. It rests entirely on that foundation of real competence. Take the foundation away, and the whole effect flips around on you. Let me make it real with an actual experiment, run by the psychologist Elliot Aronson back in 1966. People sat and listened to a recording of someone competing on a quiz show. In one version, the contestant is a flat-out standout. Sharp, quick, impressive, acing nearly every single question. The kind of person who makes you sit up a little straighter just listening to them. Then, in one take, that same brilliant contestant spills coffee all over himself. A clumsy, totally harmless little blunder right there on the recording. So what happened to how people felt about him? You guessed it, knocked him down a peg. It did the reverse. Listeners rated the coffee spiller as the most likable of everyone. The flaw didn't shrink him at all. It took an intimidating, almost untouchable person and made him suddenly feel human, warm, and reachable. But here's a twist that proves the whole rule. The experiment also had an average unremarkable contestant. And in one version, he made the exact same coffee spill. Same clumsy moment, same splash. And people rated him the least likable of all. Same coffee, opposite effect. The blunder hadn't earned him a thing because there was no respect underneath it for the flaw to soften. And here's the aha. The magic was never the mistake itself. It was a combination, clear competence, plus a human flaw. The skill earns the respect. The flaw earns the warmth. Either one, on its own, falls flat. But put them together in that order and a person becomes genuinely magnetic. So how do you actually use this at work? Picture the leader who refuses to ever, under any circumstances, look wrong. You know the type. Every plan is perfect. Every answer is airtight. No mistake is ever admitted out loud. On the surface, it looks like strength and confidence. But here's what most people completely miss. A leader who is never wrong slowly starts to feel inauthentic, even a little untrustworthy. And one by one, the team quietly stops bringing them the truth. The relentless polish hardens into a wall, and nobody warns them when something's quietly on fire. The pratfall move is the exact opposite. Once you've earned real credibility with a track record people can actually see, let a little honesty through. In a meeting, you might just own it plainly. Here's what I got wrong at the last launch, and here's what I learned from it. Set from a foundation of competence, that admission doesn't cost you respect. If anything, it adds trust, because now people believe the rest of what you say too. So don't go manufacturing a weakness, just stop hiding the real ones. Your judgment is what earns you the room. Your humanity is what keeps it. Now the personal side, because we run the exact highlight reel constantly. On first dates with brand new friends and absolutely everywhere on our feeds. Think about meeting someone new and quietly trying to seem like you've got it all figured out. The great job, the perfect weekend, no problems even worth mentioning. It feels safe. It feels like a smart move. But that flawless version of you keeps everyone politely at arm's length. Exactly like the glossy magazine cover from the start of this video. Because nobody actually bonds with a press release. We connect over the cracks, not the polish. The shared struggle, the honest, oh thank God you haven't figured that out either. So the shift is small, but it changes everything. Once there's a little genuine connection there, let one honest imperfection show. The thing you're still figuring out, the struggle you usually edit straight out of the story, it quietly hands the other person permission to be real right back, and that, almost every time, is the exact moment an acquaintance turns into an actual friend. You don't need to perform your mess for anyone. You just need to stop hiding the simple fact that you're human. Now before you go knocking coffee onto yourself in the next meeting, here's a catch. Because the Pratfall Effect has two backfire modes, and people walk straight into both of them. The first trap is a manufactured flaw. The instance you perform vulnerability just to seem relatable, the classic humble brag, honestly my biggest weakness is that I just care too much, or the rehearsed focus group little stumble, people feel it. We've all got very good radar for this. Fake humility doesn't read as humble. It reads as a sneakier kind of arrogance. The fix is dead simple. Just don't invent flaws. Just stop hiding the real ones you already have. The second trap is skipping the competence, and it's the one that study practically shouts at us. Remember the average contestant who spilled the exact same coffee and ended up the least likable in the whole experiment? A flaw with no proven skill underneath it doesn't endear you to anyone. It just quietly confirms your doubts. The fix. Earn their respect first. Do the real work, show people you're genuinely capable, and let the humanity show through. Competence with no warmth feels cold and untouchable. Warmth with no competence feels like a nice person who's a little in over their head. The whole effect only comes alive when you've got both, and in that order. So here's the whole thing in one sentence. Once you've genuinely shown that you're competent, small honest flaws make you more likable, not less. So build the real credibility first, and then quit hiding your humanity. And here's your one move this week. Instead of polishing yourself to a flawless, untouchable shine, share one small honest imperfection. After you've done the real work, and just watch how people around you respond. I think it's going to surprise you. And tell me down in the comments when a small human moment made you trust someone more, not less. Subscribe for a new mental model every single week, and I'll see you in the next one.